Hey guys, coming into me another movie for guys, and this movie reviewing is a movie that I've wanted to see for a while now. Not because I thought it would be in my top 10 or anything, but just I was really looking forward to this movie for several reasons, and there were many reasons why I was looking forward to this movie, and finally it came on to Solar Movie right at the perfect time because it just got nominated for a Golden Globe, and I wanted to see if it really deserved that nomination because I really haven't heard too many people talk about this movie. It's kind of been one of those movies that's gone away and not really talked about a lot. And that movie is the Peanuts movie. I've wanted to see this movie for a very long time now. One, because I'm a huge fan of the Peanuts. I mean, who isn't? Who didn't grow up with the Peanuts? I remember I used to watch all of the Peanuts specials, the main three, religiously as a kid. I watched them all the time. I even watched like the Valentine's Day special, the Easter special, Snoopy the Musical. I mean, I have seen so much with these characters, and I was really interested in seeing what this movie would do with that. But I was also a bit worried because it's 2015, and a lot of times nowadays we get movies like The Chipmunks or The Smurfs that basically just try to modernize everything, and especially because it was produced by Blue Sky, who has not made my favorite animated movies. A lot of theirs are very, very just for kids and not for anyone else, and I was worried that that's what this movie was going to be. But luckily, I thought this movie was fantastic. I really think this movie is something that is great for the whole family. It was very cute, it was very funny, and overall, I think if they were to tell a story, this was probably the best story that they could have told. I definitely really love what they did with this movie. Now, it's not a perfect movie. I will say that it's not one of the best movies of the year, but I overall really enjoyed probably one of the best, some of one of the most fun times I've had watching any movie this year, and we'll get into that. Now, the plot of this movie is pretty basic, but that's something I love about the Peanuts in general is that the Peanuts, characters, in general, they're just kids. That's really all it is. They're just kids, and the concepts are very basic, but they kind of just the day-to-day lives that all these kids go through. But our main storyline here is, of course, focused on Charlie Brown. He essentially is pretty much a failure in everything. I mean, no, everyone's saying that he's a failure in everything, that he's going to just fail his entire life, that he has no accomplishments whatsoever. And one day, this little red haired girl moves into town, and he wants to do whatever he can to finally make this his big first accomplishment and talk to her. He wants to talk to her. He wants to do whatever he can to get to her. He clearly likes her and basically starts to do whatever he can to get to her. And basically, that's what his plot is about. And then we have a subplot going on with Snoopy, where Snoopy is writing this novel, basically writing this novel about him being the Red Baron, and basically trying to rescue his love interest in the movie Fifi, and that's basically a plot of the Peanuts movie. So overall, you can tell this is a very fun movie. There are a lot of things I really love that this movie did. A lot of things I thought they did that were very well done. First of all, something I am very impressed by in this movie is that it really didn't focus on star power. This is not a movie that has a lot of well-known actors because they're all just kids, and they did that very, very well. By the way, guys, if you didn't know, this movie did come out because it's the 50th anniversary of A Charlie Brown Christmas, which is awesome. I can't believe that it's 50 years old. I've watched that ever since I was a little kid, and it's 50 years old. Holy shit. But, the cast in this movie is fantastic. I'm not really going to talk about them individually, but I really think all of them did a very good job. All of the kids, and yes, they are kids that are portraying these characters, they all did a really good job. They all did the parts down very, very well. I thought they all were really great. The one I want to point out specifically is the little red-haired girl, because if you guys don't know, this is like the first time we've actually had a character for little red-haired girl. Before, what they've done is she's been in TV specials and things like that, but they've never actually shown her. We've heard Charlie Brown talk about her and describe her, we've never actually seen her, and this is the first time we actually saw her, and if I had to pick what the little red-haired girl looked like, I think this was a pretty accurate depiction, and the girl that played her, I thought did a very good job. That actress's name, what is her name? Francesca, Angelica Capaldi did a very good job as a little red-haired girl. I really loved how charming her character was. I just really loved her overall. She has this great scene at the end of the movie that I just loved, and I thought she did a very good job. The boy that played Charlie Brown was definitely a standout. He had this part down perfectly. Honestly, he seemed like he was born to play Charlie Brown, and he did a very good job. The girl who played Sally was great. I thought everyone really was great in this movie. Something I really do want to credit, though, is Snoopy, because, of course, Snoopy usually steals the show in these things, and he does here, but mainly because they actually used Bill Melendez. They used archive footage from Bill Melendez, who has died. Bill Melendez is not alive anymore. This is all archive footage, which was a very risky move, but it really worked well in this movie because it's just him making a bunch of noises for the dog, and it just worked. I don't really know how they did it, but they seemed to make it work in this story, and it worked very, very well. I thought Bill Melendez was really great. It was great to see him do, see his voices for Snoopy and Woodstock, because let's face it, I don't think I could ever see anyone else playing those characters. I really couldn't. I mean, honestly, I could not see anyone else playing those characters. So the fact they got Bill Melendez there really showed that they wanted to respect the source material. And that's something that you need to do with something like this. You need to respect the source material that you're basing your movie on. You need to do that, and this movie does that perfectly. This really just feels like another Peanuts thing. It doesn't feel like something big, and I like that it didn't feel like something big, because the Peanuts in general aren't supposed to be big. They're just supposed to be fun stories, and that's exactly what this is. And there is a very good moral in this movie that I will get into when I get into the screenplay, but I thought everyone did a really good job. I also really want to credit Kristen Chenoweth. You guys may not know this, but the person that played Fifi was actually Kristen Chenoweth. She did all of the noises for Fifi. Very, very good job. I did not know Kristen Chenoweth could do as good as a job as she did with animal noise, and I actually kind of feel she has a career in that. I'd like to see her do more of that, because she did a very good job as Fifi, and definitely was a lot of fun to watch. So overall, the entire cast was great. This is not really a movie in terms of acting, though. All the acting was fantastic. They all were really great. I really do appreciate, though, the directing here by Steve Martino, because he could have easily made this a very modern film, but he didn't do that at all. In fact, this takes place when the Peanuts are supposed to take place in like the 1970s. I mean, when you see a pencil, it looks old. There are no cell phones in this movie. There are no high definition televisions in this movie. There's not even a computer in this movie. The kids write on pieces of paper with a pencil. I mean, that's how old this movie is, and it really works just because that's how we know them. If you were to change that up, it would feel weird. That's not the Peanuts that we know, so it made sense that they just kept it the way it is, because it was very, that's how we know the Peanuts. And if they were to do that, that would obviously turn off, fans of the Peanuts who love these characters, and I thought it was great. His tone with the movie was really good. I definitely really enjoyed that, and overall, I was very impressed by the directing in this film. My only real gripe with the film is the screenplay. Not because I love the story. I will say that the story in this movie, I think, is fantastic. The fact that we have Charlie Brown basically doing whatever he can to get to this little red-haired girl, I can relate to that perfectly. I mean, whenever I've liked a girl, I've done whatever I can to talk to her, even if it's been too much. I do whatever I can. I'm a very sweet person. I always try to impress them, maybe a bit too much. And Charlie Brown, I think, does the same thing. He does impress her a bit too much at points. But that's just, I think, how we are. It's sometimes kind of awkward to talk to that girl that you liked. And this is a very good example of that. My only real complaint with the film, though, is while it is, because it is based on Charles Schulz's comics, which I am very happy that they decided to do that. There are so many times they will reference his comics, and sometimes it works very well and it's very clever. There are some scenes where they had some homages to the classic Christmas special, and there was one scene where they had homage to the classic Christmas special. I bursted out laughing. It was so funny. But then there were times where they had references to things I've seen multiple times, and I really felt some of them were out of place here. And I understand they really wanted to get every single reference possible that they could, but a lot of them kind of just felt like you're just referencing it. It didn't really feel like it fits with the scene. And I understand the Peanuts is just kind of a random thing at points, but I really didn't feel like it fit in with the rest of the film, in my opinion at least. Some of the random jokes that they threw in, I didn't really felt work as well as they could have. And I will definitely say that I'd say like the first like 25 minutes of this movie, I'm like, I don't know. They're just throwing out random references. I really didn't know how I was gonna feel about it. I was really enjoying it, but I will say the movie is not extremely funny. It is funny, but when when it does something new, it really is funny. And I will say a lot of the jokes, that we know, like, of course, Lucy having a crush on Schroeder, that still works. Sally loving Linus, that still works. Every single plot point you've ever seen a Peanut special is in this movie. I mean, it really is. And you needed to have those in there because that's just how we know these characters and we need to fully develop them. I understand that. But just some of it felt very out of place and some of it just didn't work. Like, there are a lot of references to the Christmas special, especially. I found that the most, of the references that they had in here were the ones for the Christmas special, and some of them just didn't really work here. And one that they did multiple times, and I'm like, that worked a lot better here than it did here. It just some of them didn't really work as well. But again, this appeals to kids. Kids don't really care about that. Kids just want a fun movie, and that's exactly what they're gonna get. And this movie is a fantastic message of just being yourself, and caring. And it doesn't matter if you're an overachiever or if you're the smartest person ever. The best people put themselves before others, and there's something that Charlie Brown does in this movie that I definitely really admired. And some of the direction this movie went in, I thought was actually pretty unpredictable. I honestly didn't really know how this movie was going to end. I was very happy about that. The ending, especially, I honestly was pretty thrilled by it. I thought it was a really great ending. Probably one of my favorite endings of the year, honestly. Really great ending. Let's talk about the Snoopy of it all. I loved what was going on with Snoopy, Woodstock, and Fifi. Always really fun when Snoopy goes into his like fantasy world where he's either the Red Baron or he's just doing his own thing. It's always fun to watch, and this is a great example of that. I thought they were really fun, and they really felt like fantasy because they go all out with this. Like, it really felt like some like epic action film, and it was awesome to watch. I loved it. There were so many funny references thrown in there, and it was just awesome to see this adventure happen. Even though it's not the central story of the movie, it just worked well because it's Snoopy. Snoopy is just a dog, and something I've always loved about Snoopy is that there are just so many things they don't understand about Snoopy, and I love that, and I think they really showed that well in this movie. I was smiling so much throughout this movie. I had the biggest, like, childlike grin on my face at certain parts of this movie. A lot of it was when Charlie Brown was trying to talk to the little red-haired girl. Like, when he first met her, I'm like, oh my god, I can relate to that. But something else I really appreciated was that they do use the original comics in this film. If you guys seen the trailer, when they go into their like when they're thinking, they actually show like how this was in the comic, which I thought was really clever because you want to have you want to pay tribute to Charles Schultz's vision. This is supposed to be a film of love. It's supposed to be a film celebrating the 50 years of Peanuts that we've all come to love. That really is what it's supposed to be, and I think they did that very well here. Um, Also, they do use modern music in this film, and it worked pretty well, I will say that, because the modern music wasn't too modern. Like, it wasn't modern music that just didn't fit in with the rest of the film. They didn't just have modern music to have modern music. I thought they did it pretty well, and I didn't think it deviated too much from the story. I was a bit worried that it wouldn't fit in here, but it did fit in pretty well. The editing was perfectly fine. This movie went by really fast for me. I was pretty much into it the entire time. I was, except for those random references. Overall, guys, I overall really love the Peanuts movie. There's not too much to say about it. It's a really fun movie. It's a movie that I definitely recommend you guys check out because you're going to have a really fun time with it, definitely. There are a lot of really fun things that happen in this movie. It's not really a movie that has a deep plot point, but it does have a really great message in there, and it is really great for kids and adults alike, and I'm definitely very happy that it might get some more, recognition because it got nominated for a Golden Globe, and I'm definitely going to give the Peanuts movie a 4.4 out of 5 or an A minus. I overall really enjoyed it. Really cute, and definitely one of the most fun times I've had watching any movie this year. Alright guys, so that's basically my review of the Peanuts movie. Hope you guys enjoyed them. Notes, guys saw this movie, you have seen it. This really made me want to like go back and watch a Charlie Brown Christmas. I haven't watched a single Christmas special all year, so I might just do that. I might just watch a Charlie Brown Christmas right now, because that's what this made me want to do. So I might do that, and let me know if you guys saw this movie, have seen it. I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for, I gotta catch up on Ash vs. Evil Dead, so I think it will be for, the last 2 episodes of Ash vs. Evil Dead that I've missed, so I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.